Hello, I'm Sam Filloramo back here again at Lot 2 Restaurant in Brooklyn, New York in Park Slope. And today we are going to be sauteing some tilapia. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a nice crispy piece of fish. I'm gonna show you how to do it, cook it through perfectly. We're gonna put that on top of some new spring potatoes, asparagus, and an herbed vinaigrette. So basically what I'm gonna show you to do is how to get a nice crispy piece of fish out of a pan with a minimal amount of oil, perfectly cooked through. So let's run through these ingredients real quick and then we'll get moving. We're going with some asparagus. We have some new potatoes. We have tilapia here from our friends at Tropical Aquaculture. Tropical's tilapia has a unique sweet flavor that balances well with fresh and bright produce. It also holds together really nicely when sauteed. We have some cloved garlic, lemons, white wine vinegar, Dijon mustard, kosher salt. This is gonna make up our vinaigrette. It's picked parsley, tarragon, mint, and scallions. And we have some grapeseed oil and some extra virgin olive oil. So let's round all this up and get in the kitchen and get working. All right, so here we are, ready to get our potatoes, asparagus, and fish rolling. First things first, we'll get the spring potatoes rolling. We're gonna get them into a pot. Then we're going to add water. So I'm gonna get that on, throw it on high. The potatoes are gonna go, that's gonna be about 20 minutes at the most. So while that's going, we're gonna make our herbed vinaigrette. Now I'm just gonna do a chop on my onions and my herbs. Again, this is a rough chop. It's all gonna get hit with the blender anyway. We'll take our parsley, which is already picked. That's gonna just go right in. Now we have our tarragon. So I'm just gonna quickly take it off the stem. If a few stems go into this, it's okay. It's just gonna impart more flavor, and again, it's gonna get broken up with the sticks. Then we have our mint, which I'm just gonna pull. So now, we'll take 2 cloves of peeled garlic. Just gonna give it a quick chop. Now we have our white wine vinegar, our Dijon mustard, and next we're going to add, again, lemon. Let's use the zest first, and now the juice. Again, I squeeze it into my hand with my fingers barely open so the seeds can fall into my hands. Next, we'll add salt. Good 2 pinches, about a tablespoon's worth. And we could always add more if we need to. Now, we're gonna hit it with the blender. So just get right in there. Okay. And next we're gonna add some olive oil. I'm gonna go with a little bit of both. I like to mix a little olive oil and then a neutral oil. In this case, we're using grapeseed. Canola oil would also work just as well. Okay, it's at a pretty good consistency right now. The oil and the liquid are emulsified together, which is a good thing. So it's what I'm looking for. It's quite acidic, and the herbs are just all over the place, which is great. It's really bright. I want this to be acidic because it's going to get mixed with potatoes, which is really going to soak it all up. So I want it to be kind of strong. It's totally going to mellow out when it hits the potatoes and asparagus. Okay, next we are going to blanch and shock asparagus. So what that means is we're going to drop it into water that's at a rolling boil, cook it quickly so the vegetable just cooks through, it gets a nice bright color, and then we're gonna dunk it into ice water, which is gonna immediately cut off the cooking, leave it at a perfect al dente asparagus, great toothy bite. And our potatoes are now finished. And how I know that is because, pulling out, a knife should penetrate it nice, very easily, right in. Okay, here we go. Next step is the fish. So, going to pull our piece of tilapia, let that rest. Going to get a saute pan on the heat. I'm using a non-stick pan. You could use stainless steel. The fish tends to stick if you're not so practiced in sauteing a fish. So it's nice to start with nonstick. So I'm gonna come over to the fish, I'm gonna season it. Ecuadorian tilapia has a unique taste because it's raised in brackish water. This results in a sweeter, milder flavor and a firmer texture. I'm going to use a grapeseed oil to saute with. Again, a canola oil would work well. They have a very high smoking point and they don't have a lot of flavor, so you just taste the fish. You could use olive oil if you want, but it does tend to burn if you're not too familiar with heat control in a pan. This is the safer way to go. The fish has two sides. The bottom side, the side's flat. The top side, we're gonna wanna sear the top side. So that's gonna be the first side down. So in we go. Always lay the fish towards you and then lay it down away from you. That way the oil will never splash up and hit you. We got a nice sizzle going. Okay, so our fish is working nicely. We're gonna let it go. It should take about 4 or 5 minutes. You're gonna know it's ready to go when an opaque color starts to creep up the sides of the fish. You always wanna cook fish about 70% on one side. Then you wanna flip it, kind of just kiss the other side for a few seconds and it's done. So while that's going, we're gonna assemble our potato and asparagus salad, which is very easy. I'm gonna keep the asparagus the size it is. Should do. Looks good for about one person. Gonna get some purple potato in there. A little red potato. And these tiny Yukons. Just a few. I'm cutting them in half so they're able to soak up the vinaigrette. I'm gonna season it with a bit of pepper, some salt, and our vinaigrette. Just wanna check for seasoning, make sure there's enough salt. A little more. Okay. So if you check out the fish, you'll see this side is basically, it's cooked, and the whiteness is creeping up the sides, so it's ready for a flip. So you always want to manipulate the pan. That's going to help you flip the fish so much easier. So angle the pan towards your fish spatula and work right yourself under the fish. Get right under there. Tilt the pan at about a 45 with the fish. There you go. So we got our nice brown crust. It's crispy. It's gonna give into a nice soft fish. So I'm gonna give this about 15 more seconds on the other side and then I'm taking it out. So here we go. Walk your pan over to your plate. There's your fish. Now, so right now in the thick part, it should just barely be cooked, but as it's sitting, by the time it gets to your table, it's gonna cook all the way through, just enough. That's what you're looking for. We'll sauce it up with just one last bit of the vinaigrette. And you know what? It's always nice to finish a plate with just a little zest. It's gonna hit that hot fish and it's really gonna wake up. Everyone's gonna smell it when it comes to the table. Here we are with our sauteed tilapia, with our new potatoes, our asparagus, and our herb vinaigrette. A little bit of lemon zest to finish. Simple, easy, absolutely healthy. And you know, fish can be made like this at home. It's no big deal. It's all about even heat, not fussing with the meat and just letting it cook. And again, to me, this dish, I mean, it screams for wine, Gruner, something dry, white. I mean, you could either go Pinot Grigio if you so decide. And I think that's all you need to enjoy this. I am Sam Filloramo here at Lot 2 in Park Slope, Brooklyn. This is your sauteed tilapia with asparagus, new potatoes, and herb vinaigrette. Enjoy. I'm Sam Filloramo. For this dish and others, go to eattilapia.com.